Following the jury's resounding rebuke of Amber Heard's claims in the court of law, Amber's lawyer, Elaine went on a media tour, re-litigating the matter in the court of public opinion. But that proved to be a futile effort. People watched the trial by the tens of millions and formed their own viewpoint, largely against her client.
All these women who suffer from domestic violence, domestic abuse, they don't have evidence. And basically what this jury said is unless you pull out your cell phone and you tape record your spouse beating you, you're out of luck.
But Elaine, I think it was bigger than that because you had the evidence, as you say, but they did not believe her. Why do you think they did not believe her?
I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp. I think the celebrity status.
But she's a celebrity, too.
Bredenhoft attempted to use genuine domestic abuse victims to lump Amber in with them, which angered many, and implied that Amber won the same case in the UK. But the truth is, Amber was not party to that suit, and so was not subject to discovery. It was between Johnny Depp and the tabloid news outlet The Sun, where he was called a wife-beater. The English judge reportedly relied on Amber's claims to rule in favor of the news group newspapers, the parent company that owns The Sun. But in the U.S. trial, it was between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
You know, in this case, the jury not only didn't believe Amber Heard, but in ruling that she acted with actual malice, that means she had the intent to cause harm, right? That's a pretty high standard to have proven.
Bredenhoft claimed unfairness and seemed to blame everyone as to why they lost, including the jury, the judge, and social media.
They did, and to try to suppress as much of the evidence that came in the UK and did not come in the United States. But the other...
And there was evidence excluded on both sides, and you're very familiar. There are rules of evidence that apply. Not everything comes in.
Ben Chu, Johnny's lawyer, would go on TV weeks later to respond to the misleading claims Bredenhoft made during her media spin job.
Right. And suppression may not be the best word, too, that she uses, right? It's inadmissible because of hearsay or not relevant. Or...
Exactly.
Because you're saying it's the celebrity, it's Johnny, it's the people who support him. But what about you and your team?
Elaine also pointed to the jury as possibly even being tainted.
That was almost more disappointing than her statement about evidence being kept out, because I construed that as an affront to the jury. And these are people, and you saw them every day, who gave up 6 weeks of their lives, of their work, of their family.
To anyone who followed closely in trying to defend the indefensible, Bredenhoft struggled and stumbled throughout the trial.
And do you recall... I'm trying.
At times being unprofessional, and even went so far as to mock Johnny, who is the actual victim of that relationship in the eyes of the majority of the world.
Or she played a tape in which Mr. Depp said, "You will not see my eyes again." Do you recall that? I do. And that was Mr. Depp said, "You will not see my eyes again." Do you recall that?
She
and that was
did
during the
not.
mediation process.
She mocked him. She mocked him. I don't think that's good. You'll never see my eyes again. Elaine, but I don't know if mocking Depp is going to play well for the jury, especially when you have Heard's teams out here saying that what you're seeing is Depp's attorneys pounding on the victim and what have you. And then you have Elaine getting on redirect and mocking the plaintiff.
At one point, when Bredenhoft was struggling to appropriately ask a question without being objected to by Johnny's team, even the judge volunteered and helped her.
Objection, no foundation.
Had any impact?
Sustained. Next question.
Are you aware of whether he said anything about that?
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Do you know?
Objection, hearsay.
I'm asking now, she's allowed to rely on hearsay.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay. Do you know whether that plays any role? The degree of success?
Customarily when it's
Objection, foundation.
After how does she know?
How do you know?
When witnesses came forward with damning testimonies against her client, Bredenhoff resorted to accusing them of chasing fame. The instance that garnered the most attention is that of Morgan Tremaine, who revealed that the tabloid outlet TMZ, where he worked as a manager, received a tip to send photographers to the courthouse. The tip included that Amber would pose for them to take the infamous pictures and videos of the right side of her face.
You know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame, doesn't
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
I can ask that question.
Overruled.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in a target of TMZ, a very litigious organization. And I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical.
Bredenhoff's defense depended on questionable evidence that the jury ultimately decided lacked credibility and didn't back her client's dangerous and defamatory claims. A jury member after the trial confirmed this and said of Amber, "The majority of the jury felt she was more the aggressor and that there wasn't enough or any evidence that really supported what she was saying."